So, the Grim Reaper that Zoro met in Wano when he had defeated King, I am more than certain that is just a manifestation of Odin's dark half of his soul. And that's of course after he had been killed by Kaido. Let's theorize for a second. So with every person in the One Piece world, I believe they have two halves to them. There is their light half and their dark half. And these souls can be stored within things such as swords, or devil fruits. And when it comes to Odin, he had two swords. He's just a representation of a Joy Boy within his own place, and that is Wano. And a big thing about Joy Boy, or Nika in general, is the light and the dark side of the powers. And that's represented by Odin's two swords, Enma and Ame no Habakiri. Ame no Habakiri, the white sword, is the light side, and Enma is the dark side of his sword. And the thing is, every swordsman becomes one with their sword, especially Odin, who was a master with these two swords. And when you become one with the sword, and the sword becomes one with you, your soul is placed within or retained within the sword. And Enma's such a special sword that it literally uses the user's haki without really needing them to give them any. It just takes the haki out of them. So I am more than certain by the time that Odin had died, he had stored plenty of haki within Enma himself. And I believe when you gain full control over Enma, you gain the ability to give and take away haki from it. And Enma can store and just hold massive amounts of haki. It would be very similar to the Enma's haki, not how he was able to store haki within it and then release it. I believe swords can do the same exact thing, and once you gain control over Enma, you can just have Enma store a bunch of your haki within it, and you can just store haki for later on. And I think it's very important that Zoro is the one that got Enma, because with Odin's death, his dark side or his anger that would have came from this death. Obviously, we saw him still when he died, but there still would have been anger from not being able to save everybody and do what he wanted to do. That is what would have been retained within Enma, because he would have had this anger when he was fighting Kaido also. And that's why I believe when Zoro goes to fight and attack Kaido with Enma, we see Kaido going, how does that bear the presence of Odin? Well, we just explained how. That sword is holding Odin's soul itself within it, part of his soul, his dark side. So every bit and ounce of Odin's anger is stored within that sword, especially from when he was fighting Kaido. And the other sword, the Ame no Habakiri, that's his light side, and it's a good thing that Momo has that sword. Because I believe when Momo connects with this sword, he's going to connect with the good side of his father and get to learn who his father truly was again. And I think it's very important that this sword is called Ame no Habakiri. Because in the legend of Yamato Orochi, the multi-headed snake that is, or dragon we can call it, that is slayed by Susanoo, Susanoo ends up finding the Murakumo. And it later got the name the Kusanagi no Sagiri, the heavenly grass cutter, the snake slayer of heaven. That is exactly why Whitebeard's Naginata is called Murakumo Giri, because he also had to slay a multi-headed snake too. But this is also why the opposite end of the Ame no Habakiri, Enma, was gifted to Zoro, because he's gonna have to do the same thing too for Luffy. And by the way, the multi-headed snake I believe he had to slay was Roxy's Beck at God Valley, when he got basically Dami Reversi. But let me know you guys' thoughts and opinions, and I will see you in our next video.